look, I don't know who this guy is. I just Googled it. But he says just 8% of people achieve their New Year's resolutions. I'm not even really sure it's that high, and I don't know what these resolutions are. But let's just assume that's a true statement. So the thing that we need to do is do what the 8% do. Do what these successful people are doing to create results with achieving goals. That's what this is about. But let's first make sure that you're not doing what the rest of the herd are doing. That's what I'm calling the herd. This is what I'm calling the masses, right? And this is what the majority of people do. And this is why, one of Warren Buffett's things is like, you don't follow the masses, right? Like you would do one of the opposite things. And when the masses are running out, when the herd's running out, us as investors, like we probably want to run in, right? When the masses are running out of a market, we want to run into that market. When the masses and when the herd is running into a market, we probably want to run out to it. So let's look at goal setting like that. So I say like don't be like the herd. We're not judging the herd. We're just saying, there's some results and some things we want to do different in our lives and our businesses. So don't be like the herd. What did the herd do? Constantly work their butts off, but not getting any closer to their real goals. They set goals for the year, but a couple months later, they probably already forgot about them, likely because of one of, like, for sure, the biggest reason is right here. The lack of certainty and commitment. Bar none. Lack of certainty and commitment. But I'll digress and keep going. But I want you to understand, like, that is the real problem here. That is the real problem. The lack of certainty and commitment. So, lack of simplicity. Like you have a goal and you don't really understand it. You don't have a model or map. So like real estate. It's so overwhelming. Well, you don't have the simplicity of 7 fundamentals or whatever strategy it is that you're going to execute. Lack of simplicity. And a lack of progress. You just give up. You just give up because like they're not really seeing any results or much change in a short period of time. And then maybe it's this. Maybe you become like a yes person. Like you say yes to like almost anything and everybody. And so I refer back to a lack of certainty and a lack of commitment. Because if you're really committed to something, and you're really certain to what it is that you want to do and what you want to accomplish, you know that you can't say yes to everything. And just by default, you instinctively say no because it's not going to move you closer to the result that you want. So maybe you are part of this herd and you spend a lot of days feeling overwhelmed, pressured with all the things that you have to do with your life and your job and whatever it is, so that really there's a lack of time. There's not really a lack of time. It's just the way that you've organized and structured your life that's created this sense of lack of time. But that's how you feel, and that's what you've created, and that's where you're at. Where you feel like there's really a lack of time to do whatever it is that you really want to do. There's really a lack of time, and it feels real. There's this lack of time to spend the time that you need to devote to your real estate investing business. And so that's kind of what the herd do. And most of them, unfortunately and sadly, give up on their dreams forever. So don't be like the herd. Don't give up on your dreams, even if you're in a place right now where it like feels really difficult to believe and difficult to achieve and like just really, 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 I don't know, just like out of reach. Like don't be like that. Like it can't. Like this is look at so many stories of the great entrepreneurs of the world and of America and of our great leaders. So many, if not all of them, have like this incredibly so, like this story of being on, the brink of bankruptcy or living homeless out in the street or whatever it may be. And this is where the turnaround comes. This is where like that power happens, when you're like down to your last dollar, down to like nothing, and you turn it around and create results. I remember, share a quick story, I think it's very applicable here. I heard a story about Robert Kiyosaki and his wife when they were, this is like early 80s, and so I want to say they were new entrepreneurs, but I believe they were newlyweds, and they had a business that had just failed. Totally flopped and crashed, and They lost everything. And I heard this like through an audio CD or tape, a cassette at the time. I can't remember what it was. I'm dating myself a little bit here. But they were down to nothing, and except like they had like 25 bucks or 50 bucks, something like that. And they had friends calling them, offering them, hey, they didn't have a house. They had their car left. And they had friends and family, hey, you can move in with us, you can stay with us. Hey, we can help you get a job. They had job offers. They were very educated. They had previously been very successful. They're very educated, very employable, and they were down to like this $50, and they're like this really became, and I'm speaking on their behalf, like they were talking about how this really became our defining point in life, where we were at this essentially bottom, like we had lost everything, and we're sitting here with like this 50 bucks or whatever it was. That was the last $50 to our name, and we're like, you know, are we gonna go get a job and go stay with our friends, or like just like be okay that this is the bottom, and we can be okay in this place, and we can like begin to take that next step on the journey of a 1,000 miles. Like this is it. And so here's what they decided to do. They decided to take their $50, and they said they rented a motel, like a cheap motel. They bought a bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken and a 6-pack of beer. And they said they just had some good times. And that was like where they just laughed and were like, this is okay. If this is the bottom, we can be okay here. And we're not going to give up on our dreams. And, the rest of the story. Obviously, they didn't. They've been incredibly successful. So in terms of going back to like not being like the herd, like that was kind of my path whenever I moved in from law enforcement to the corporate world. But I really found like how unhappy I was, and I was unfocused. I was unhappy. I was just busy. Like I was working a lot, but I was so unhappy, and I was like focused on the wrong things. Like for a while, focused on like this company is going to take care of me. I'm going to climb this ladder and do this job that I don't like. And it was truly for me a path to a status quo. Just like being completely average, middle, blah blah blah, boring. Nothing's wrong with working a job and being a useful member to a company. Like I'm not talking down on that if that is you and that is your path and that's what you desire to do. But I knew I didn't desire that. There was something in me that wasn't okay with me. And so if you're okay with that and you want to do real estate, for example, on the part-time, and I've got students like that, they're totally cool with their jobs. Like, man, like I like my job, I like what I do. I desire the security or just the stability of a job, but I really want to do real estate on the part-time as a hobby. Cool. Then just do that. But I've got students who come to me on a scale of 1 to 10. I'll ask them, how much do you enjoy your job? They're like 0, like 1, like I hate it. It sucks. Cool. You need to do something about that, or you're out of integrity with yourself. So that was me. I knew I was out of integrity if I stayed on this path.